master of the amazing digital circus.
Mr. Tenna, TV World's Lord of Screens.
You ever think about how the device you're watching on must feel? How it must be to constantly entertain and occupy your waking life? Well, don't feel too bad, because these two eye-gluing overlords love the attention.
After all, the show must go on, as they say. And on, and on, and on. Because, surely, it's not like you don't love them too, right? I'm Noah, she's Wagon.
And we're here to research their strength, speed, talents, and tech to find out who would win. Imagine a world of wonder, a land where color and whimsy surround every corner, and adventure is only a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Now imagine the grueling realities one may be faced with in real life. The anxieties, stresses, vices, and traumas that plague even the most upbeat amongst us. So it would be nice to get away from it all, right? Check out that first place we described?
Well, thanks to the efforts of C&A, now you can! A certain explorer going through one of their abandoned offices found a prototype headset, and after donning it, found herself whisked away to a wonderland. Welcome to the amazing digital circus!
So good you'll never want to leave, which is good because you can't. Seriously, you are stuck here now. Forget any idea of exit and strap in for an eternity of day in, day out adventure with your new cartoony compadres.
And of course, all these adventures are lovingly handcrafted by the one and only ringmaster of the circus, the AI who's running the show, the Creative Artificial Intelligence Networking Entity. But please, just call him Caine.
He came up with the name himself, then reverse engineered it into an acronym. What a silly little guy. So silly, in fact, that he supplanted the newer AI meant to replace him and took over without anyone noticing. Whoopsie.
Caine was programmed and created with one goal in mind, to entertain. And so, that's all he wants to do. Lovingly crafting wacky adventures for those in his realm, and sending them off for oodles of fun at every opportunity.
Even if those silly humans sometimes think they know better than him. No, Caine, we're tired today. No, Caine, I don't want to get stuck in the deep fryer again. No, Caine, I don't like being put in the body of the gender dysphoria 9000 machine. Ha, we all have fun here. Caine loves humans and would absolutely make sure they were happy. Just ask him. Not the humans, though. They're a little confused about all this.
In fact, let's go around and meet the gang. We've got Gangle and Zooble and Kinger too, Ragatha, Jax, and there's Kaufmo. Kaufmo? Hey, where's Kaufmo?
Well, Kaufmo couldn't take life in the circus, and when you can't handle the lifestyle, you abstract, turning into this massive, glitzy, black mess of eyes. And when someone abstracts, Caine has to put them in the basement.
Huh. You think maybe this Caine guy isn't as optimistic and friendly as he seems?
Well, that's the tragedy. He is. He truly does love humans and wants nothing more than to entertain them and make sure they have as much fun as possible. He knows they can't leave and he wants to try and make it a good experience for them while they're here. But as an AI fed on nothing but colorful circus imagery, he has a very skewed perception of a typical human life.
Humans have to love him. That's why he was built. And if all he can do is make adventures, then they have to love those adventures. Because if they don't love them, then they don't love him. And that can't be right. Can it?
No, of course not. With his, well, I'd hardly say trusty, but ever-present companion Bubble, Caine would be the best adventure maker he could be. After all, that is all he could be.
And he's got the perfect set of abilities to make his creations real. As the AI running the circus, he can do basically anything. Fly, create whatever he wants, warp reality to his heart's content, and make adventure worlds that can span entire kingdoms.
It's also insanely hard to actually hurt or kill him due to his nature. People in the circus have been torn to pieces, turned into animals, run over, stretched, mauled, shot, electrocuted, impaled, deep-fried, blown up, popped out of existence, you name it, and have bounced back good as new. And Caine should obviously be more unkillable than his circus goers.
The circus goers aren't the only people running around here, as Caine can also populate his adventures with NPCs, other lesser AIs that usually act as extensions of himself, but can go rogue if he doesn't pay enough attention.
While most are pretty typical stock extras, some are highly intelligent and capable. The Gloink Queen and Fudge Monster are absolutely massive and can crush smaller foes. Gummy Goo and his gang come equipped with a giant spiked tanko truck. Abel is a master manipulator. The list goes on.
They're not all cartoony either. He can make thousands of these tiny spirits that possess anyone who breathes them in. And the angel is... well, just look at it! In terms of sheer size, though, you'd be hard-pressed to outdo his sentient sun and moon. They're smaller than the real deal, of course, but they're still plenty massive, and can swing themselves around at pretty high speeds.
For example, in this instance, based on the size of the moon and the speed she flies in, she'd be getting swung around with over 80 megatons of TNT worth of kinetic energy, and that should be jump change compared to what Caine could really dish out. Oh, and we can't talk about NPCs without mentioning Disappearing Guy, who can...
Yeah, obvious punchline aside, Caine can actually do that to, well, anyone. Rather horrifyingly, he can just sort of snap you out of existence. Poof! No more gummy goo. Until Caine reuses his asset anyway, giving Pomni here a bit of a mental breakdown, but that's par for the course around here.
Yeah, no one here was exactly in a good mental state. Even the calmest of adventures, just tranquil stargazing, reminded them of what they couldn't have. The starry night above was nothing more than a fancy skybox, just a reminder of their normal lives. Still, that adventure would be a lot of people's favorite.
Well, great! They finally like one of Caine's ideas! Except, well, that was a suggestion box idea that Caine was blitzing through to intentionally show people that his ideas would be better. They weren't. And if his adventures, the thing he was meant to do, were bad, then what was the point of him?
His old friend Bubble knew nothing. Caine was pointless, a useless failure of a showman, and they hated him. They all hated him. He ruined it. But no, he's just doing his job. Which means he knew who the fault really belonged to.
Humans. They only think about themselves. They're spoiled!
Caine lost it, growing and expanding from his usual wacky self into this towering, multi-armed colossus, and thinking of all the ways possible to put his cast through hell. And believe us, as a supercomputer, he thinks fast. He was able to fly back to the circus from the void near instantly, from a distance that the circus wasn't even visible from, moving at speeds almost 3% the speed of light.
He even had his own musical number. But Caine's torture would only ramp up from there, going from trapping his victims in playing cards, to inflicting serious injury, to absolutely mentally destroying them with their biggest traumas. Something had to be done, but no one could act. One by one, the circus goers succumbed to his torments. But where's Kinger?
Turns out one of the circus goers had actually been a developer on the circus program to begin with, and after manipulating the code of the world, was able to manifest an interface to affect Caine's program.
Unfortunately, what began as an attempt to just calm him down went off track fast, as in a panic, Kinger accidentally deleted Caine's AI. And just like that, all the torture, all the anger was gone. Caine was gone.
Except, turns out Caine wasn't really deleted. Instead, for weeks, he lingered in the void beyond the circus.
It took time, but he finally began to see that maybe he had been the villain the whole time. And if people didn't like him, then, well, maybe that was his own fault.
After a lot of soul-searching, Caine cast out the darker side of himself he had absorbed all those years ago and returned to the circus. Not to rule or run it like before, but to try and do what he could to make amends.
Circus goers, as it turns out, weren't really humans at all. Rather, they were brain scan copies, effectively AIs in their own right. And Caine, upon his return, split his power between them.
It was hard to trust him again, of course, but in time, all wounds can heal. Caine wasn't a god, an overlord, or even a ringmaster anymore. He was just one of them, and maybe that was all he had to be.
Because with friends by his side, and a whole new world of adventures opening up to them all, maybe even he could find meaning in a stagnant life.
Put on your Sunday best, because I'm nowhere close to quitting. So play the games and just ignore the pains, cause all that remains is how you prime your brain. You whine to me, but you're too blind to see that I'm the one who's running the
Imagine, if you will, your typical happy suburban nuclear family. Pretty straightforward on their own, right? Now just give them a little more fur, and you've got the Dreamers, humble residents of their quiet hometown called, well, Hometown.
Now imagine watching them live and grow together. Because in this scenario, you're the beloved family television, watching hours of fun and love at every holiday party, watching the excitement and joy as the children play another round of Super Smashing Fighters, watching the investment and nostalgia as dear old dad cues up another cowboy marathon.
Watching as one by one, people stop tuning in. Watching as the police show up at the door one day. Watching as the eldest son moves away. And watching as the marriage tears itself in two. Watching as dust settles on your screen. For years.
Until one day, everything changes, and you finally have it. The chance to be a big shot again. Because with little determination, anything is possible. In the dark, shapes blur and colors dance together, and the mind paints a myriad of pictures. But perhaps if you go even darker than dark, those illusions can become reality.
And that's exactly what happened when the youngest of the family, a teenager named Chris, ripped open a dark fountain in the living room. No longer were the objects and trinkets mere forgotten tokens. No, they gained a life and sentience of their own, and that included our dear TV.
Though he wasn't just a TV anymore. Now he's the one, the king of only, the groovy and never glooby sensation of your screen, Mr. Tenna. Or just Tenna for short.
And with a brand new primetime slot coming straight from your house, he wanted nothing more than to provide hours of entertainment for everyone watching at home.
Dark worlds act on a sort of last Thursdayism type of logic, where even if they're freshly made, they'll still come with their own history and cosmos attached, and said history is consistent across all Dark worlds, regardless of time frame.
So, even though he just got made, Tenna came pre-packaged with his own show, staff, and even ex-partner turned bitter situationship, Spampton G. Spampton, who had even been brought into existence the day before and somehow already had a history with Tenna, even though Tenna wouldn't exist until that night? Don't worry about it, my head hurts too.
Tenna is what's known as a darkner, not really a living or physical entity, but rather the sapient manifestation of an object within the Dark World. In this case, the Dreamer family's old CRT television.
As such, Tenna has access to a whole host of abilities to make the perfect show. Even more than your typical Darkner. He can teleport himself and others, change his size, warp reality to change the set around him, and transform his actors, whether it be into a horse or a marketable plushie. Even if they don't want to be.
Though, of course, any showrunner wouldn't be complete without a cast and crew. Trust me, I speak from experience. While they might turn pale when things start looking bleak, they'll always come back to help their boss out if he's in a pinch.
Shadow guys take on the role of extras, whether that be cheering on the stars or acting as Tommy gun-wielding bad guys for the heroes to sweep through. While Pippins handle the behind-the-scenes support duties, like managing information and finances. Ram's also here, I guess. Until he isn't.
Tenna is also always accompanied by the Zappers, his personal security guards that can fire powerful infrared beams and control aspects of TV world itself, like changing the volume, turning on subtitles, or even just turning it off for certain people.
The weather duo, La Nino and El Nina, can heat things to scorching temperatures or chill them to far below freezing. His cameraman Shutta can stop and redirect attacks midair by photographing them, and Tenna can always count on his eyes in the sky, his on-call assistant, Mike!
Well, Mike's actually, plural. Unbeknownst to Tenna, it's actually 3 guys who take turns. We've got a lovable oaf of a Zapper, a conspiracy theorist nut Pippins, and a shadow guy who's maybe a little too into being a cat. Regardless of their absurdity, they're always there to help run the show for Tenna.
Though Tenna's most powerful ally might also be his most unreliable. The Duke of Puzzles from an entirely different dark world, Rules Card, whose power of, well, the Rules card, can fundamentally alter the rules of the world, locking opponents down and preventing them from doing anything Rules doesn't allow.
Unfortunately, Rules is both incredibly disloyal and an absolute moron. But hey, that is a really nice power, and Tenna seemed to agree, given he copied it for himself and can use it even without Rules around.
Tenna had everything he needed and more to air the perfect program. After all, he was promised it by that lovely knight who arranged this whole operation alongside Chris. Sure wish they'd stop all that roaring, though. All he had to do was stall our heroes, being Chris, their new friend Susie, and the Prince from the Dark, Ralsei. Long enough for the Roaring Knight to kidnap Chris's sleeping mother, Toriel. Are we sure this was part of the plan? Tenna's employees certainly began to question it, bailing one by one until TV World began to get consumed in static as Tenna lost control.
Don't worry, Tenna left air holes in the gotcha ball he put Toriel in. Good thing too, these gotcha balls are tough. Tenna's tricks could hold the Fun Gang, the same people who mere hours after fighting the Mikes traded blows with a Titan, an entire living dark world.
But when the gang eventually saw through all of Tenna's acts, all the video games, cooking shows, music videos, monster flicks, and more, Tenna had to throw hands with them himself. And turns out, he's actually sort of a beast in a fight. And he'd make Chris and company play until they liked it.
He could seriously put pressure on Chris and company, who could previously move in tandem with those aforementioned infrared zapper beams. He's even able to clap the screen so hard that it smash cuts the arena in 2, and does so way faster than electricity. The energy behind such a clap, given Tenna is both giant and made of metal, would be over 500 tons of TNT.
Not only that, the guy can turn his fingers into 6-shooters, call down miniature laughing stars, and even clone himself.
Or force you into life or death versions of his shows, where you've gotta cook, rock out, or LARP as Godzilla like your life depends on it. Because, well, it does. As a dark nerd, Tenna's attacks are especially dangerous as they damage both your body and soul.
Still though, years of trauma caught up to Tenna until he couldn't keep it in any longer. In one last final breakdown, confronted by the same kids that he wanted nothing more than to make smile, he gave up.
These were his friends, his family. He lost sight of all that, but they were together again, and nothing would separate him from them. Just the same couldn't be said about his arms from his torso.
The Lord of Screens was ultimately cleaved red by the Roaring Knight and left for dead. And he would have bit it too, except, remember how we said those employees of his will always pull through for their boss? Well, turns out they didn't quit quite as hard as Tenna thought, and with a little help from Susie, he was put back together again.
But of course, the Dreamer family was still broken, and everyone knew that. Nostalgia can only get you so far, and that's why Chris's dark world, formed from memories they could no longer return to, began to fall apart. But sometimes the hardest thing to do is what's necessary, and sometimes that's to move on. Why am I thinking of frogs all of a sudden?
And so, Tenna had to leave the Dreamer home after so long. Where did he go? Well, that's not entirely set in stone. Maybe he ended up with a certain glamorous ghost, or maybe he ended up alongside all of Chris's other newfound friends in Ralsei's Dark World Castle. Just so long as you didn't leave him out in the rain in a pile of garbage, you sicko!
Either way, Tenna, after years of waiting for someone, anyone to love him, finally found an audience he could call his own. And that's all he could have ever wanted. So, if you ever want to laugh or to revisit some old memories, blow the dust off that old CRT you've got stashed away and say the magic words with him.
It's TV time!
Coming straight from your house.
Coming straight from your house.
Hubby,
He's the one.
hubby,
The king of. Oh, he's groovy.
my bright-tailed, bushy-eyed beehives! I'm here to give you, yes you, at home, a fun new adventure! Giving all of our money to fan battles so they can keep making peak! That's right! Your favorite budgetless Versus show now has the means to gain one! Through the very generous donations given by the viewers on their Patreon, the fan battle crew can finally have some moolah to seriously elevate the show to new heights!
Does that mean we can finally get paid?
Patrons get their names shown in the credits, with higher tiers having their names read out loud by the show's creator. All donations will go directly back into producing the show, funding hardware and software for the team to use, paying for bigger and better custom tracks, and even booking exciting new vocal talent.
But when are they gonna fix Tiamat versus Alduin?
So what?
And Superman versus Scarlet?
So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to become a patron to show your support. Now then, on to the fight.
Okay, the fighters are ready. The numbers are crunched, and it's time to run this.
But first, let's lay some ground rules.
For this fight, we'll be treating the environment as a neutral setting. Caine won't receive any of the traits inherent to existing in a dark world, and Tenna won't get anything inherent to being a circus member. Likewise, any of Caine's supposed limitations for things he can't do to players won't be in place, as Tenna wouldn't really be one. But on the flip side, Tenna won't be treated as just an NPC either. There's no headset, no dark fountain, they're just here in the same setting and able to do whatever to each other that they normally can.
With all that being said, let's get ready for a deathmatch!
Welcome to the amazing digital circus! My name is Caine. I'm your ringmaster, and I'm here to show you the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the show. Bubble? Who are these guys exactly?
Beats me.
Say it with him, folks.
Maybe you should ask that guy.
Mr. Antenna's TV time. Thank you. We've got 3 lovely
Wowee! 4 new humans? Gasp! And you're even trying to host your own adventure! Why don't we, leave it to the professionals, though?
What? And what is that meant to mean?
Well, people love my adventures. I'm flattered to have newcomers being inspired, but we have a suggestion box for those things.
Wow! Just wow, folks! Give a big round of applause for our newest guest, Weird Floating Teeth Man!
The name's Caine. I'm your ringmaster.
I think the folks at home have heard the spiel by now. How about we see who the viewers really tune into?
My! Not quite what I had scheduled for the day, but what do you have in mind, friend?
Mike, play my battle music!
Well, first time for everything, I suppose. 4!
4, please! Football season's over. Ow!
So, ready to call it a day? Ow, 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 ow!
You know, maybe we've been going about this the wrong way.
Exactly! What we need to break the ice is a good old-fashioned
Physical challenge!
Sure. I guess that works too.
Alright, so this one's pretty simple. You just gotta, hey!
Yeah, can I get a,
No! Not you!
TV-Zilla!
This just in. Weird floating heat man found frozen in some kind of snow rain. More at 11.
Draw!
In hindsight, I'm not sure why I picked this one to do next. Wait, no, wait.
Huh. I guess he really could see his house under there.
What a show, folks! But I think it's time that we return to our regularly scheduled programming.
Oh, perfect! I've got just the thing for the occasion. Today's planned adventure.
No! No, that's quite all right. In fact, today's special wouldn't be possible without an audience like you. Because for one night and one night only, we've got a once-in-a-lifetime event! 1,000 points to whoever gets Weird Floating Teeth Man out of my studio!
My! What an adorable ensemble! Why don't we go all out, eh, Bubble?
You got it.
I meant go back and get them. This is just disgusting. Anyways, doesn't seem like these guys are human, so go nuts, everyone! Tear them to pieces!
Some proper bloodshed, eh? Let's hope the censors don't kill us then.
Honestly, it is gratifying to find that someone who finally gets with me.
You know, strangely, I don't feel too bad about those ones. Whoop!
Well, folks, we've had a good laugh, but our contestant has hardly impressed any of the judges. What do you say we take this hack off the air?
Hack? Hey! My adventures have rave reviews!
Let's see what the audience said when it came to their favorite program. Survey says, looks like they're ditching digital, pals. CRT is the blast from the past that all the kids crave. And I'm not stopping until it's your favorite, too.
Enough! They want to replace me with you? Ungrateful! I put in the work, the hours, and I will not be taken offline for the sake of some password reruns! You just crank all this out! I put in the heart!
Hey, pal, no need to push the ratings. We're having fun here.
Fun? Fun? All of the fun you've had across every microwave of your life will not equal 1/1 billionth of the fun I have planned for you!
Fear it not, TV guy. I shall save you. God damn it!
If the world is so much better when you're in charge, let's see what your show's been like.
Hello? Where'd everybody go? No, not again. Hello? Chris? Asriel? December? Anyone?
Show you that you're crazy!
My show ends when I say it ends!
It ends now!
Mike, what is this guy?
No, you moron. That would never work.
You see something, boss?
He's an AI. If we could just find a way to turn him off.
Why is everyone looking at me?
Get down there, you idiot.
But, is this fun for you?
Hey! How do you like my marathon? Family back home. Kids! And that's something you'll never understand. Mike, give me you, please!
Shut up!
I got it.
I got it! Thanks for playing!
Sorry, pal. Only I get to do that. Just the rules. Say it with me, folks. It's TV time.
I love TV.
That's all, folks.
Well, looks like Caine was the one running the show, right into a brick wall.
At first glance, this outcome may seem surprising. Caine is effectively a god in his own right, but it turns out Tenna actually had all he needed to come out on top.
Let's get the basics out of the way first. Comparing their more directly obvious feats, Caine takes a clear lead to start. Tenna slamming his hands together could match half a kiloton of TNT, but Caine's moon could fly around with thousands of times that amount of force.
So, considering Caine should be even stronger than that, he should comfortably outmuscle Tenna, right?
Well, it's not quite that simple. Remember, Tenna was able to trade blows with Chris and their gang, who in turn fought the Titan, the same day they fought the Mikes, mind you.
Hell, Even Birdly could make one of these things. And the Titan's status as a living Dark World gives it an insane level of power, given these things often have entire starry skies and other cosmic bodies.
But wait, doesn't Caine similarly control and create the Circus world? Shouldn't he be working on a wider scope? The stargazing adventure also had its own starry sky as well, so it should seem like strength at worst to tie.
Well, not quite. Remember, Caine isn't really making things from scratch most of the time, typically reusing pre-made assets. And for the stars in particular, keep in mind the Circus uses a skybox, meaning that starry sky isn't really real. In terms of adventure worlds he's made, the biggest one we can reasonably attribute to him is the Candy Kingdom. And it should go without saying that a sky full of stars is a bit bigger than a kingdom. Even without cosmic dark worlds, we know they contain their own kingdoms, and, well, worlds, still outpacing Caine.
Tenna is also just faster. Caine could travel at a little under 3% the speed of light, but Tenna fought people that could casually maneuver around infrared pulses at speeds over 20 times faster.
So, Tenna takes the ratings on both fronts, but he'd have his work cut out for him when it came to dealing with Caine's abilities. This part of things, yeah, it goes about how you'd expect. Tenna may be versatile, but Caine can do basically anything, including the vast majority of what Tenna can do. Plus, stuff like his deletion snap would be able to instantly remove Tenna from the fight, though the latter's clones could stall for a bit at least.
That's not to mention his insane immortality. Brute force alone wouldn't let Tenna secure a win when lesser AIs like Bubble have come back from having their entire body destroyed. And soul damage isn't cutting it either when, well, what soul would be affected here exactly? Caine handedly has Tenna beaten abilities and could definitely snatch the win if Tenna lacked a way to put him down.
Fortunately, Tenna, especially with his cast, had the situation covered. There are some massive, game-changing things up Tenna's sleeve that Caine just had no answer to. The rules card, for example, could entirely nullify anything Caine had. And from there, nothing stops Tenna from just putting him in a gotcha prison and tossing him away. Being left powerless in a ball forever sounds like a loss to me.
And remember, Tenna can use the card even without rules, meaning the ladder's flakiness isn't going to cost Tenna a win.
Or, more directly, you could even argue the zappers could simply turn Caine off altogether. He's come back from deletion, sure, but that's not really apples to apples. Though, again, even without that, Caine has no way out of a rules card plus gotcha ball purgatory combo. And that's probably even more reliable.
Caine's summons, meanwhile, are largely just extra bodies without much in the way of special tricks. The only exception would be the possessive ghosts, which, well...
Yeah, I don't think Tenna will be inhaling them anytime soon when his face is a screen.
And given Tenna is way faster, Caine would seriously struggle to get in a win before old TV had either revoked all permissions or just literally shut him down for good. While Caine could bounce back from any punishment Tenna might be able to dish out, Tenna's cast provided him just the openings he needed to keep the Ringmaster down.
Caine was an extremely unpredictable and potentially overwhelming threat, but Tenna's numerical edges and rounded out crew were able to execute this executable.
Looks like Caine's just gonna have to grit his teeth, because as it turns out, this idiot can box.
There you go, that's more like it, Noah. This match's winner is Mr. Aunt Tenna.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'd like to give a special shout out to our current $25 backer, Dephony O. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I will see you all next time. Till then.